Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Fantasyland Megapark. In the last episode, I worked on this island over here, which is themed in a tropical pirate style. And here on top, we have all these ancient ruins. And in the middle of this episode, I also created this full throttle style coaster. So at first, it gets launched through this loop, and then over here on this section, it actually reverses direction, gets launched backwards. And then after that, it gets launched over the loop once again. So a pretty fun layout, I think, and I'm really happy with how this area looks now, especially for example with these branches here. And I try to make it look nice and tropical here with some fun rides. Now in today's episode I want to focus on the area that's still left on this island. Over here I want to make sort of a stairway downwards. And over here I want to make a nice pirate town. And it will also have several more rides. Now before I do any building, let's go first name several more of the handymen in the park after people who commented on the last video. Alright, here you can see the new additions to the handyman squad. You guys will now forever be sweeping vomit and litter in the park. Now, if you also want to be a handyman in my park, just leave a fun or interesting comment on this video and you may get picked out in the next episode. Alright, I will now first transform this area so the guests actually have a way down here. And I also start on the first big ride of this area. Okay, this area is now underway quite nicely. First off, here we have this splash boat ride. I tried to make a nice station here. In the end, I also decided to park a pirate ship on the roof, because why not? Here inside this building, you can see that I tried to make something which kind of looks like a chain. So here on top, you see this Ferris wheel, and it looks like it powers these chain elements up here. And it kind of looks like that's also what moves these boats upwards. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now for this part I might still extend the splash boats track over here. And maybe add some more temples. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this area, but I'll figure it out as I go. And then finally here's the really big splash downwards as it passes through this temple. And then over here is the path leading downwards. Now I made it pretty heavily overgrown, also with some of these structures in between. I lowered the ground in some places just to get the look of some of these bridges, and I think it looks really cool. And finally I also made this elevator over here, so the guests have an easier way down, or up if they need to. Okay, I'm just going to continue working on this area here. And later in the episode I will start finally working on this down here. Okay, I've changed the layout for the splash boat ride a little bit. So right now here it moves up, and then it has its first little splashdown. It travels around this temple that I placed here and goes right along the path here. And over here you can see this section with the waterfall next to it. And I actually put some of these rapids in the track here, which makes these boats bob back and forth or bob up and down while passing by here. Now in this section you can see another little addition to the track. You can see this angry tiger here. And yeah, periodically it just moves forward and then backwards again. Just to give the guests a little scare. So yeah, I'm really happy with the progress here. I also made this little tavern here. And inside I've actually hidden one of these seafood stalls. I call it pirate pickles. Since it looks like the guests are buying giant pickles over here. A little seating area. And I also put this coffee stall here called Local Brew. And I hid it inside this little temple here. So yeah, I think the top part is now mostly completed. Now the outside area here, I will do that at a later point. I've also not made it yet on these areas. So there'll be something for future Ducklink. I'll also put some of these branches over here. Just because I like the look of them. I think they add a little extra to this area. Okay, and then it's finally time to actually start working on the town here. Alright, the pirate town is now taking shape. I've added several buildings to the town, also a few market stands, so I will probably still add some entertainers in them later. Yeah, here you can see the several buildings. This one actually also has a shop inside, so the guests can get something to eat. I also put this caught shark on display. I saw some people do that in one of our previous contests, so I thought this would be a fun idea to have in the harbor. Now, and I also added 2 rides to this area. Over here you can see this looping swinging ship. I called it Galleon. It seems quite popular with the guests. I think it fits here really nicely. And I also added this bungee ride called Walk the Plank. So guests first have to walk all the way to this building. And then over here they can jump from the plank while suspended from a rope. I also put some of these monorail cycles vehicles up here. Just to make it look like there's pulleys here. Yeah, I guess then jump down into this pit here. Where there's these carnivorous plants. Alright, with that, I think it's now time to focus on the final part of this episode, which will be the harbor. Alright, the harbor is now completed. Now here you can see several piers, and I also created several ships in the harbor. These are some bigger ships. I think they look pretty cool with these sails, also with a nice little skull on front. And yeah, also they have some cannons, some pirate entertainers, also some handymen scrubbing the deck. All in all, I think they look really cool. I also created 2 smaller ships over here. Not really much to say about them. And a few rowing boats parked in the harbor as well. Now you can also find my signature ride here, which is these rowing boats which are chased by sharks. I think it's always a really funny ride to have in the park. Now, and then along the edge here, you can see several of these buildings. They all have some shops inside, or a place for guests to get some food or drinks. I think these buildings also look pretty cool, right next to the bath here. Now, I noticed guests had some trouble getting around when it gets over here. It's pretty difficult for the guests to actually find their way down here. So that's why there's also several paths leading upwards here. So if you look underground, you can see a path leading up over here. There's also one, well, it's a little bit more difficult to see, but there's another path right somewhere over here. And that definitely helps the guests to get around in the park. Alright, it's once again time to name several more entertainers after my patrons. Alright, here you can see the entertainers who have been named after my patrons. Thank you so much for the support, it's truly appreciated. And if you also want to become an entertainer in the park, you can find a link to my Patreon channel in the video description. Alright, and with that, the Pirate Island is almost completed. I think we have a really nice selection of rides here with this full throttle-like coaster called the Drunken Jaguar. We have this nice little shoesing ride with these Virginia reel tubs. And yeah, there's several other rides in the park. And yeah, I think it has a really great vibe with all these this tropical foliage. But also the pirate town, I'm super happy with it. Now, of course, there's still a bit of decorating to be done on the sides. And I also still need to make the bridges connecting to the next area. But that will be something for the next episode. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. I think we can end this video with a nice cinematic overview of everything there is to see on this island. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, it would really help out my channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. And if you want to see more of these, you can always subscribe to my channel. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.